I wanted to create an opportunity where people could come and share their stories. And when we open up our hearts, we allow others to help carry our loads as we, in return, help carry theirs. And the more we share our stories, the braver and the stronger we become.
Hello, everybody. I am back. I told you guys that I know some really, really extraordinary people. And today I have someone with us who I admire and whose story I am inspired by, and I'm sure that you will be inspired too. The great thing about life is that we get to choose people that we share our intimate spaces with. And I'm so glad that she took the time today to come and sit and talk to me, because let me tell you, this woman is booked and busy, and she is busy booking. She is one of the top comedic agents, and she's worked for some heavy hitters, Shaq, Nick Cannon. She represents Lunel, T.I., Tisha Campbell. The list goes on. And when you hear her story, again, you are going to be inspired. So let's welcome Tamra Goins.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. So let's get started. You started your career in entertainment in high school.
I did. Junior high school.
High school.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit how it happened. Okay, I do have a story. She worked with Too Short. And you guys, I have this memory when I was in high school, my friend made me learn this song and perform it in her remodeled basement about 20 times. You can tell me nothing. We thought we were rappers, okay? Time after time, line after line, talking about the... Yes. So tell us a little bit how that happened.
Born and raised Oakland. My cousin, Bailey Brown, who was Barbie on the song that you're talking about, "Don't Fight the Feeling," she was the one that would forge ahead and the trendsetter, and she would drag me along.
Okay.
And so she wrote a rap, and I said, "Write one for me." She said, "Write your own." I said, "Oh, okay." So, it's so foggy, like how we really got together with Short. But I'm told that Kimmy Fresh made the introduction, which is a local rapper out of Oakland.
Okay.
And so the first song we did with Short was called Jailbait. And we were like 14. And it was on the Dangerous Crew compilation album with Folte, Spice One, and JJ Hard. And we were Danger Zone. And and I guess partly because we were young and cute and fast, and ass was out there, and so that we did that song. And then Randy Austin, who was Short's manager, came and asked us. He said, "I want you to write a song where a guy's trying to get at you. It's gonna be Don't Fight the Feeling. So but you just talking crazy to him." And we were like, okay. So I lived in Manteca. My cousin lived in Hayward. So we wrote the song at home.
Okay.
But we were terrified because we thought Short was going to call us a head doctor or, a bitch or, so we were like, we got to come with it, And so we come together, we go to the studio, maybe a couple weeks later, and he had already put down his verses. And so he just laid back, and there was some of the D-boys were there, and then my other cousin was there. And we're in a house, One Little Indian Productions, out in Richmond, California. And we start to lay down the verse. And the people are running out the house, cracking up. We can't even get through the verse because, we really just tried to like advocate for ourselves and, but we had no idea what, he was saying either. And he has admitted that he's gone back and changed it, added a verse, changed his verse, and they didn't even let us hear it until after it was already out. So he's terrible.
Okay.
But it was, at that time we were like 16 years old, and here we are. And that was his first album with Life is Too Short with Jive Records. So it was a platinum, and the album went platinum.
Wow. Okay. So fast forward to where you are now. You're a comedic agent. You're killing the game. You didn't set out to be an agent in the beginning. And, you know, a lot of people frown on slow beginnings or slowness. They feel that you should know what you want to do, go for it, and stick with it. But you've had a change of career. And what would you advise, or what's your advice to people who want to change careers, 20, 30 years into their first career and then decide to change? What's your advice to them? And what influenced you, or what really motivated you to make this final step to change?
I think the first thing you said was people think they should know. And I would challenge that and say, how? I think especially with, our children now, they want to skip the steps. And when you skip the steps, you're giving away the game, because so much of what we learn comes from our experiences.
Yeah.
And so as you're leapfrogging over what would make you great, And so I would say that in every job, you have to do it to the best of your ability. And with every job comes a transferable skill.
Yes.
And as you're navigating through these jobs, then you start to figure out what feels good, what feels arduous, what you're good at. Because you can be good at something, and then you can be great at something. You could be good at something that drains you by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then you could be great at something that doesn't even feel like work. But unless you have those experiences, there's no way for you to know.
Really know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in terms of for me, I was 38, dead-end job, loveless marriage, raising 3 children in the middle of America, trying to be a partner to somebody that didn't value my contribution. And so I said, if I could give 2 people 5 years of my life that didn't deserve it, then I could certainly give myself 5 and see what God has for me.
Yeah.
And I asked him for my purpose with blind faith and grace. And I literally was a Hollywood agent in 3.5 years.
Wow.
And I never even considered that at the time. I was working at Harley Davidson telling grown men they had to pay for their bikes. I was in the collections department, arguing with them telling me what they own when they clearly didn't have the title. Girl, sending people to funerals to pick up, it was foolishness. But it was a dead-end job. And, so my husband at the time came home, and I said, you can't be happy because I'm miserable. We should let's dap it up and be homies. And so he moved out that next month, and he was the breadwinner at the time, and I worked for the corporation to have to do the insurance. But he didn't, as a self-employed person, he didn't appreciate that contribution. So it was like whoever had the gold, So then I went and got my own gold.
Got your own gold.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So can you tell me, were there any signs or any particular experiences that kind of led you here, or that you knew you should be heading into this direction?
Well, when I was after I did the song was short, I went to college, because that was the thing. After we did the song short, he was like, now I know how you guys feel about me. And think about, we were 16, he was young 20s. And at the time we had made fun of something that was, physically, not cute, his teeth. And, when I look back at it now, or you look back at the 20 plus year olds that, young men that now, it's like, I'm sure that was super uncomfortable for him.
Yeah.
And so, he got his revenge by, he paid us $800 a piece and went on and kept everything else. So that, I think, there's one line in the song that I think sticks out the most to me. He says, you want a rank hoe? Go get your bank hoe. So he won, right?
Yes.
But so how I have come to grips with that prior to, and we'll probably talk about, that song being memorialized in a movie. But prior to that, not knowing that there would ever be any, that full circle moment, how I came to grips with it is that I went to college. My cousin and I went to San Jose State. There was a guy there who was already grown from San Jose named Jeff Clanagan, who heard that the girls on that song were at the school and wanted to meet us. So that's how we met him. And then he gave me a contract because he had a record label. So I was an Alpha Angel, and I went to one of the Alpha brothers who was worked at a law firm. And I said, can you have somebody look at this contract? And he said, okay. His name was Nick. And so we went and took the contract to the attorney he was working for, named Kurt Robinson. And Kurt said, don't sign this, because it was a terrible contract. So, and then Kurt said, I'm going to take you under my wing. He was, Notre Dame grad from East St. Louis and, 30s. And so he took me under his wing. And long story short, I ended up managing a jazz club that he owned with 449ers. And so then Jeff comes back into the story, and he goes, and I'm 20 when I'm managing the club.
Okay.
And he says, I want to do comedy here on Thursdays. And I said, okay. He said, you don't have to ask nobody. I said, I'm the manager.
No, I don't have to ask nobody.
And so he would bring Lunel. He would bring Maestro Clark. He would bring Daryl Heath, Chris Tucker, Speedy. He would, all these guys up from LA, and we'd pay them like $50 or $75, $100, and they would perform on Thursday.
Okay.
So he said, if you can manage a club, you can manage a concert. It's just bigger. And I said, okay, let's go. So I think the other thing is being fearless and being, like open to different opportunities and stepping outside of your comfort zone when somebody else sees a skill in you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So he had these like New Year's Eve shows with like Lakeside and Roger and Zapp and, just all like the Gap Band. And so I would be his promoter rep and I'd have all this like money strapped around my waist, and he'd go that way with the briefcase and I'd go this way with the money. And he taught me how to promote. And once I graduated, I went to work for him full time up in Oakland. And so 23, I'm on the road with the Isley Brothers, like 10 city tour, and then HBO Def Comedy Jam. So I've been in and around the business for a long time. HBO Def Comedy Jam. We went to Shreveport and Dallas. And for everybody that wants to be a promoter or thinks it's easy, you're playing with your livelihood. Like literally in that weekend, I think, and it was probably in 96, he lost like 80 grand, and it wiped him out. It wiped me out. I had to go corporate. He had to go corporate. And, but when you go somewhere, you be the best you can be.
Yes.
So I went into this corporate environment and I started teaching the women there Microsoft Office, because they had been there 15 years and it was new in concept. And I elevated until I ended up marrying my first husband. And so then I went on this whole, the marriage, and he was an NFL player. Okay. So it was a married, mommy thing.
Kept.
He was crazy. And then, I said, anything but a football player. So now I went and got this other, this finance manager, this like super regular guy. But then that's like, oh, you forgot you regular. So then I was like, you know what? I'm not turning the reins over no more. Let me go get my own, And so that was my prayer. And that was my prayer to God, to give me my purpose. And I was 38 at the time. 38. So when I think about somebody at 22 or 24, saying, what's my purpose in life? To go on your journey. Yes. Go on your journey and figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And everything will work out. It really will. Okay, so at 38, you have 3 children by now. Who was your support? We know that it takes a village. We know that you do not reach success alone. So who were some key people who contributed?
Everybody. I would fly my mom in. I would fly my stepmom in. I flew my godmother, Afrika Shaw. I flew her in. She would just come stay with me 3 and 4 weeks at a time. My sisters.
Yes.
Like I have a whole village that, especially because here's the thing, like if your home isn't taken care of, it's hard for you to be your best and be out in the world competing. And I think it's one of the things that as a woman, you struggle the most because most of the time, like for me, what I found is that the people that I'm competing with, they have wives and I need one too, you know? And I'm like, because wives hold it down, right? But when I got to go home and I'm the wife and I'm the executive, you know, I'm at a disadvantage. And so I had to create and simulate what that was like to have people that I trusted. So, and I don't really like people like that. So I don't want to, I don't need no new people. You know what I mean? Like, so I would fly my family in, my sisters, my.
Yes. People that were close to you and that you trusted. Yeah. Okay. So as you're building your business, as you're climbing the ladder, I think it's important who we surround ourselves with, you know, part is family, but friends as well, because we get to choose our friends. So has there ever been a time when there was someone that you could no longer serve or that no longer served you and you had to, you know, get rid of them? You had to shed the weight. How did you do that? What's your method of doing that?
I'm pretty direct.
You don't play.
I think this is run its course. Listen, you know, I mean, I haven't had a lot of that because I think that I vet people pretty well. And because you're always kind of drawn by like the things that center you, right? When someone behaves like really out of character, especially, then, you know, then it's like, I always look at heart motive. Did you wake up today and decide you was going to offend me? Was it premeditated? Was it, or did you just trip and do something silly? Right. So if you decide, if it was premeditated, I cannot know you really easily. Yeah. And I think I know that I'm a good friend and I know that I'm a resource and I know what I bring to the table and it's your loss. Yeah. So, definitely. Yeah, there's been a couple of people along the way. And my friend group is older, probably to the like 10 to 15 years older at this point. And so it's always the ones that come in and, you know, want to be you. It's not enough to, you know, coexist in your own excellence. Yes. And so when you have somebody that, you know, you don't like single white female, you be like,
and you can usually detect that. Like,
you
this
can.
Ain't feeling
yeah,
right.
You can. Yeah. So I haven't had a lot of that, but I've had some key people in my life that were around for a season. Yes. And then taught you a lesson. When the season was over. Yeah. And I wish them no ill will, but you can't be around me.
So I usually keep my friends 20 years, you know, plus. I got some 50 plus. 50 plus? Woo. I had some 30, 40s, but at least, you know, 20 years. But I had to get rid of some people. And it was difficult because I am a person of grace. You know, I don't think any of us are perfect. But then you get to a point where you wonder, like, you know, were you like this all alone? Right. You know, was everything we went throughout the years, was that real?
I think when we're young, we're still trying to figure out who we are. You know, and that's why it boils down to your principles. You know, and the other thing too, some people, they, you don't know who they truly are until fire hit that ass.
Until something happens.
You know?
That's true.
And so because people, it's easy for people to operate in grace when they have everything they need. Right. But it's when things are, you know, adversity creates character. Yes. So you get to see a person's true character when they're in the toughest of times.
So true. So true. And then how they decide to be in that time is what determines, you know, if the friendship is going to last or not. Are you going to be negative all the time, or are you going to do what you need to do to get out of that situation? Yeah.
You know, everybody is different. It's a season. I don't know. But I do think that if you're the most important person in your group, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Yes. And some people like to be the most important person in the group.
Yes. They like all the shine.
Yeah, they want all the shine, but then that's all the responsibility. Yeah. You know, and so until you enter into a space where people are, your true peers, even in different arenas, because leaders know how to follow. It feels really different.
Yes.
And it creates an environment of, ideas and just forward thinking, prosperity. Then you're drawn to that. Then it's not, you don't want to be the most important person in the room.
You don't have to be.
And there's no way for you to grow if that's the case.
Right.
You're just reigning.
Right.
You're reigning over your subjects and you're stifling your own growth.
Right. So we need to be around people that we can teach and then people we can learn from as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so in this male-dominated field, how are you excelling?
There's a way that men communicate with each other. And I think that I've learned over time, some of it is a lot of ego, and I'm trying to get to the bag. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Put those swords away. Let's identify what the real issues are. Okay. And let's find the compromise in that, right? Okay. So, they don't take it as, they're not as combative, when I can say the same thing that a male counterpart could say, and they take it different.
Yeah. I
think just being smart, but also we're pretty amazing. We're pretty amazing, people, women. I think that I have to be careful in these times, because I start saying the Y chromosome is a defect. But I've known some amazing men too. Y'all don't act crazy. But I think that I've known some really, I've had really amazing mentors. Both my men mentors, Jeff Flanagan and Kurt Robinson. I love them because they never did anything weird. It was all, they really just saw a fire in me and developed me in a way, and taught me, let me into their world and trusted me. So that was great. And then I have a mentor, Valerie Benning, who has also, she toured with Luther Vandross. So she's been in this business even way longer than me.
You have.
And also helped to navigate some of those waters being in such a male-dominant industry.
Okay, so I was listening to one of your other interviews, and you used the term that you're the only Black person with equity in the comedy industry. Can you elaborate on that? What does that mean?
So in the agency environment, there are a lot of agents, right? But most agents aren't partners, and they're workers. And I've been a partner since 2017.
Okay.
So, and that's in this space, it's so weird. And I'm like, I'm the only Black woman in comedy. That's crazy. And then I'm the only Black person that I know, and somebody can correct me, that is a managing partner at an agency of record. I mean, at an agency of, one of the bigger agencies. And I'm sure there might be somebody that has a boutique or independent, but as far as the bigger agencies go, in my field, the people that are my peers, they don't look like me, and if they do, they aren't managing partners.
Wow. That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay, so I have some comedians here with us today, some upcoming ones, and I want them to pick your brain, and maybe you can just give them some tools that I think, would be helpful to them in their future careers.
Are they ready?
Are they ready? Okay. They better be ready, right? So we're going to bring in Bud, and we're going to bring in Nari. Okay, gentlemen, go ahead and introduce yourself. Nari, we can start with you.
All right, I'm Nari Cortez, comedian out of Los Angeles, California. I also DJ, act, MC. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Nari Cortez, NariKortz.
Okay, and Bud, introduce yourself to us.
My name is Bud Bartlow. I'm out of Richmond, California. I act as well, stand up. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
What's your IG?
My comedian Bud.
Okay. So, Tamra's here. Ask away. What would you want to know?
Okay, I would say, what would you say to an upcoming comedian who's looking to be seen or struggling being seen at the right place at the right time?
I mean, it's so broad, you know. Where, like, I guess for me is, are you going to the open mics? Are you going to, you know, are you amongst your people at the comedy clubs? Who are, you know, who's your friend group? How are you, you know, aligning with the comedy producers, you know, in the clubs here? I mean, because you're in LA. Mm-hmm. So that you already have a one-up on a lot of people. I mean, there are people that are in Ohio with aspirations and trying to get here to get on a stage. So I would say, I guess I would have more questions about where you've been, what methods you've been using, who you know, what your networking, you know, what your how are you networking? Mm-hmm. How are you spending your time?
Okay.
You know, and then I think the other thing I would say is, so often, especially now, everybody like, I'm funny, you know? And so, but I also say, you know, you could just start working. People can work on a computer. That doesn't mean they're proficient. You know, so there's the, you know, the UCB and there's the Second City where they train people to be, you know, with comedic timing, and they, you know, so they train people how to write. A lot of my, you know, my clients, they'll say, I wrote this script, and then I take it to someone who is, that's their thing. They you know, they're literary agents, and they're like, ooh, this is trash. You know? So yeah, I would just say that if, you know, whatever your aspirations are, to, you know, really decide how you're going to invest in that, and how you're going to compete against other people that think like you, that they're funnier than everybody.
Mm. So to piggyback on that, so I have a decent comedic circle. So right now, to hear more, Ron G, Craig Smith, they kind of been like my mentors in the game right now. But from a pride standpoint, what if you're that person, like you're up and coming, but because these people are really good to you, you don't want to come off seem like you're using them. You know what I'm saying? Because some people will try to get in the group just because I want to use you to advance me. But it's like, I'm actually cool with you because I respect what you do, but how you try to go about it, but not be like, I'm just here because I want you to elevate my level.
Well, I mean, everybody needs something. So, I mean, like Craig and Ron G, everybody, they were mentees as well. So how can you help them? If Ron has a show, will you go sell merch for him in exchange to be around? Will you, you know, can you do flyers for him, you know, in exchange for him to help you on the set? You know, I agree. You want to find the reciprocal relationships, but those guys, they also got help, and so the more that you sit around, and now too, look at your own heart too. If you're trying to use them, then you are. If you're not, then it's like say, I really want your help and I really want your mentorship, but I don't want to come off like, you know, we supposed to cuss on them. I don't want to.
I've been holding back too. I've been trying to hold back as well. That green light or red light?
Got my approval.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get real then.
I don't want you to come off like a beep boy, you know. So I think that's all about communications and conversations, because all of them, they're still trying to make it too.
Right.
If you ask them if they're where they plan to be, the answer is no. Okay. So I think they respect communication, and they'll respect you saying, how can I be additive on what you're doing, even if it's not in the comedy space? They got a kid to watch. They have, you know, I mean, because so much of this grind is all encompassing of your life. Right. You know, even me, as you know, the reason why I'm not a rapper is because the ones that were the most successful were, you know, I slept on somebody's couch. I was broke. I was it. I was like,
that was going to be one of my questions. Why you stopped rapping? That's understandable. Facts.
I don't want to struggle this story.
Struggling for the wrong reasons.
I don't want that story. I don't want to be a 40-year-old rapper. Who knew there would be 60-year-old rappers? I mean, we didn't know back then. Hammer was like the one. I was like, He too old. I don't want to do that.
He can still dance his butt off, though.
Yeah, no, he can't. But so see, back then, remember, I'm 53. We didn't even know, like, everybody thought hip hop was a fad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like now it's cultural and it's taking over everything. But back then, we were in the middle. We were like on the forefront of this new trend that, you know, people didn't respect. And it certainly wasn't as influential as it is now.
Right.
So it's like, be a 40-year-old woman rapper. Girl, you gotta go find something else to do. I'm too practical. I'm too practical for that. So, yeah. I
mean, you did say earlier, if you know, if you found what you want to do, regardless how old you are, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do.
I didn't say that.
Somebody,
I said that.
Something similar.
What I said was that you don't know what you're going to do, so you have to keep doing these experiences.
There you go.
And so as you're navigating things because there are some things that you're great at, but if at the end of the day you're completely drained,
yeah, okay,
that's not living per se. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do till you can do what you want to do. You don't get to, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and wait until I can do, So
rapping felt like work.
Rapping was a childhood pastime.
Gotcha.
That I did with my cousin, and because she's selfish, she wouldn't write for me. And so, and she was always doing something, and I wanted to do it too. And so I did. But then college happened. And so now it's just a different path, and you're young. And, I did a little bit of like a solo career. And then I was like, ooh, but then I became the manager of this jazz club. And I'm like, no, this is kind of cool. I'm a boss. Like, that's dope.
Oh, yeah.
So then, and now I'm on the road with the Ozzy Brothers. I'm like, oh, yeah, these a lot of old men. But,
gotta be dope, though.
Yeah, you got to run from them, lock your door. Listen.
Dirty old man. She done called him dirty old man.
I'm 53 now, but I've been a baddie for a long time. Let me just say.
They really outstanding.
They outside. You did not leave me hanging. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. See, conversation done went really left.
Okay. So, Bud, what's your question?
With all your knowledge as being a talent agent, what do you look for in an up-and-coming comedian as saying, this comedian is doing this, and this, he's worth being represented?
For me, it's hustle. I mean, sometimes it's like, so there's this one comic, I ain't gonna say his name because he'll be embarrassed. He'll be like, I was trying to call you. I said, why? Because I need representation. Why? Because one, you got to figure out what representation is. Yeah. What exactly do you need? Half the time what you need is really a manager. Okay. Because a manager is a person that's going to develop you, that's going to help you with your assets, that's going to send you to the right school so you can learn how to create a joke. Somebody, that's going to take you along. Agents are very transactional. Okay. I'm a different kind of agent because I care. I think I was a producer first for Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam. And my experience with agents were these crazed, coked out, like white men screaming, lying. And I was like, who are these people? So when the opportunity came, I'm like, one, is lying a prerequisite? And two, what takes so long? And so I took the opportunity, and I've come to know that you don't have to do business like that. And me coming from the producer side of things, I know how all those lies and being afraid to tell somebody no, how that holds up progress. So I've actually, worked on changing the culture inside of what an agent looks like, what, how an agent behaves. And the lines are, kind of blurred because I'll help to manage a client that doesn't have a manager, but that's added value. That's not really within, what an agent, typically does. But I'm not typical.
Hey.
Any more? Nari, you have another one?
Okay, so in today's age, is it for an up-and-coming comedian, is it more focused for the online presence, or should they just focus on being great on stage and everything will come later?
It's I don't think it's enough for either. It's not enough for you to just be funny. Just like it's not enough for your wife just to be cute. It's like, is she a good partner? Is she clean? Is she a good mom? Is she educated? There's all these things. So as a comic, Are you writing? Are you studying the craft? Are you, it's like, are you marketing yourself? Are you finding your people? Who wants to pay to see you? Because where does the money come from?
The people.
You got to find who are the people that you can entertain, who are the people that care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you are like, well, my mama them.
Come on, they ain't gonna show up here.
Right, fact. Some of them are your biggest haters.
But I'm saying, if your mama them is a crowd, I mean, there's some people that are like, well, I'm big in Kansas City. Okay, well, we should go to Kansas City. I don't know. So, I mean, but there's a huge sacrifice that has been paid by the comics that have come before you. Mm-hmm. And so as they now, with the digital age, it opened it up to where it's easier for you to go find your people and to do different work. But you have to study and do the trends and align yourself with people that are doing that. Just like with Alicia, I'm saying, it's like, with her show being on YouTube, it's like we're going to align her with some other people that are doing this so she can do it at the highest level.
Yes.
Okay. I like that.
Because if you're on an island, then you're lonely.
Yeah, everybody needs somebody.
Yeah, you have to network. And I think it was Issa Rae that said so many people try to network up instead of just networking, on your level and creating with a group of people that you trust that elevate, that you can ride the journey with.
The Kevin Harts, the Kev on stages, they bring their own people up and just build them, and then they stay that group.
Even Steve Harvey, the manager Rashawn McDonald at the time was a comic. Okay. And he went on to manage him because it's like whoever got the biggest star, let's ride that and let's go get it, And so you might think you want to be in front of the camera when really your strength is as a writer or as a promoter, somebody that knows how to go get the people. So just being open to again what it is that feels good and what it is that feels natural, when you're on this journey.
Okay.
But you have one more?
Is it still important for an entertainer or a comedian to move to LA now with social media going on and people becoming sensational, blowing up on social media? Is it still a thing to come to LA?
COVID changed a lot of things. I think since, between social media and then with COVID, because then they started doing a lot of auditions via Zoom, and a lot of them haven't even resumed. Like there's so many things that have changed, how COVID changed the culture. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of people that moved to Austin. There's people that, so they're creating their, a comedy culture there. I don't think so. I do think it's important that you come to LA, but I don't think that you have to live in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you definitely tap in and, because the truth is that the producers are here, and casting people are here. So if they're going to go look for somebody, they will go online. But sometimes that's good enough for them, but they'll also come to the comedy clubs and just, look for new talent. Matter of fact, I'm doing a panel for BET Experience where they have a casting call. And so Robbie Reed reached out to me about coming to look at these people that have signed up to, perform their talents at BET Experience. Okay. So I don't know what I'm going to see, but I'm going to go. I was like, okay. Let me look.
So it's really just a networking when you come to LA.
It is networking.
And then get back to what you...
Yeah, because people got to work.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that Ubered or, they do, you have to feed yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to find some kind of life balance but if you have 24 hours in a day and you have to devote 6 to sleep and then you devote 8 to a job, right? There's still so much time to devote to your craft.
Right.
So, but there is no world for me where I'm not delivering some level of comfort up with basic needs. I'm not, I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
So people that are, that's amazing. I can't. I'm not.
Can't do pillow to post.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Step in your car till you became famous.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? Listen. I'm old and I ain't never slept in my car. I don't know. Yeah, other people, they have different levels of sacrifice that people are willing to do. I just don't think that that ain't my story.
It seems like a region thing now, because now it's kind of like how music the region has its trends. So now it seems like the South is more like taking over, like the Atlanta scene. And I know even the North Carolina scene, because I'm meeting a lot of comedians that are from those avenues. Mm-hmm. So now it makes it seem like moving to Atlanta or moving over there would be the actual move now. But with social media and everything, it kind of doesn't matter anymore where you're from. It's just kind of just...
I don't think so. I mean, now the one thing about Atlanta is they have a lot of sound stages and they're doing a lot of Black content, and so there might be more opportunity for local roles. And so what I mean by that is there was a time as the Atlanta film market has gotten bigger, they would get their series regulars. So like the number 1 through 5 on a casting call, so the more important or the bigger characters, they would cast that from here and then have to fly them there. But then now they have casting directors that are there that they cast locally. So if you're there and a casting director locally, then you're going to get more opportunities than somebody that's here in LA because the amount, the shrinkage of productions that are here. Right. So that's why it can look like that depending on what level you are. Because we had some, I think like Nav Green ended up in Coming to America 2.
He's hilarious.
And then somebody here might say, how Nav end up, but he's there. Right. And when they want to hire local, and so when I say they want to hire local, that means they don't want to pay for their, hotel or anything. So they're going to look at what they have. So I see how it can look like that could be more advantageous just because there are more, Tyler Perry is there, his studio is there, there's a lot, and then they have that 35% tax credit. Yeah. So a lot of the productions are there. So if television and film is your thing, then I see, but then it all circles back to here because even the people, I have one client that she did that and she did it for a long time and now she's stuck. So now she's like, okay, I got to get out of this, so, but that's not to say it can't be a part of the journey, but it's all hard.
Yeah. So it's just more just in the entertainment game. It's more of the networking aspect. Cause I see like Ryan Coogler, who's from the Bay, but then Michael B. Jordan is like in all his major projects, but Michael B. Jordan from New Jersey. Right. So it's like that connection from they're on opposite sides of the map, but they found each other somehow and made great projects.
Michael B. Jordan, he bet on Ryan Coogler on Fruitvale.
Yeah.
So you could stop there because Michael B. was already established when Ryan wasn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think once you make something like that, then the rest of it don't matter where you're from. Right. But
when you make those strong connections and you keep making the magic, why try something different?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys. Really appreciate it. You guys can hang around. I have a few more questions for Tamra, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
All right.
Okay, so
then we're gonna turn these mics off and keep talking.
So we mentioned this a little bit about how you were memorialized in Freaky Tales, and if you guys have not seen that movie, go check it out. It is really, really good. So tell me a little bit about that. How did you feel? How did that make you feel?
It was crazy because I know that they didn't expect Entice to have a real entertainment attorney. That's for sure. Because I just got a phone call from an executive that I worked with before, and he like, call my cell phone, call my office, call my email. I was like, what does he want?
What is going on?
I don't even talk to him like that. And when he called me, he said, we have this really special project. I was like, okay. Because really I was mad at him because he had treated one of my clients shitty, bad. And so I was like, why is he calling me? because I'm still from Oakland. And so he said, we have this really special project. I was like, okay. He said, it's called Freaky Tales. I said, okay, how much is short? Well, there's these 2 characters in the movie. I said, okay. He said, Entice and Barbie. I said, well, we weren't a part of his Freaky Tales, so make sure your narrative is right. And he was like, no freaky in any of the tales, None of that. And so he's like, we need to do a life rights agreement, and it's E1. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, let me listen again. What's happening, And so then he got us on the phone with the director writer, read the script, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Oh, this is kind of cool. And and then to see our words in the script was crazy. Like for them to perform the song in the script was it was dope, and it was just this full circle moment. And they had already written the script. They actually had us as girlfriends, so I was like, listen. This is my cousin. No kissing cousins, homie. Right. And they didn't have any problem with that. So that was it. He didn't know us. So this is his version and his idea of I think he was like 11, like 11-year-old white boy in Oakland, when the song came out. So this movie is all of these impressionable things that happen in the city that he grew up in through his perspective. So he could only imagine how the song came about. I thought it was really interesting that the dynamic between me and my cousin, because even the actress Dominique Thorne was pulling Normani around, but Normani was the crazy one, really. Like, my cousin was the mouth, and then I was, So, so I thought that the dynamic between them was really great, especially for him not to, have any prior knowledge of that.
Right.
And Anna Bowden is his directing partner, and so it was interesting too to find out that Ryan loved Short. But she hadn't grown up here, so it was a lot of misogyny for her. And it was this song that made it okay, because for him to allow this song to be on his record, gave her pause for what she, thought she knew.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Okay. And the last question, we met because we are sorors.
Yes, we are.
And I just want to know how Sigma Gamma Rho what effect has it had on your life since you joined and up to now?
I think it's interesting because as an adult woman, now it's almost what I can do for them. I think when you're young is what the sorority can do for you. But then on the flip side, you get this networking of all these evolved, amazing leaders.
Yes.
And to align with them and give back to a community and try to figure things out has been super rewarding for me. I had been doing this coat drive, and one of my friends called me and she said, oh, God woke me up and told me we need to put coats on the babies in the city where you're from. I said, okay.
He didn't tell me, but I'm going to go with it. Okay.
I was like, okay. Now, mind you, she's not from Oakland. She is from Gardena, was living in Texas. And so I said, all right. And I did this a Facebook post, and I raised $8,700 in 3 weeks.
Nice.
And all the support was coming from most of the kids at San Jose State were the adults that I went to school with. And so a lot of Sigma Gamma Rho, a lot of the alphas, a lot of just like people that have been watching my career. And so what that told me was that they trusted me.
Yes.
Yes. And so, and then even for the actual event, I'm like, okay, now where can I give these coats away? And I said, EOYDC, East Oakland Youth Development Center, where I went as a kid. I wonder if it's still open. And not only was it open, but it was thriving, and it had all these beautiful little brown babies. And I think so many of us try to start our own thing, and that's why it's a church on every corner. But I'm like, let me partner with the people that are already doing the work.
Yes.
And so even when, then when the Ladies of Sigma asked me to join in 21, it's been fantastic. Just to, even have so many sorors came out in Oakland for Freaky Tales. When we bought out the theater in Inglewood, I had to curate the list because we only had 113 seats or something like that. So
I was on the list.
Yes, you were. Because from the very first moment, you've just always been so kind and so sweet, and I've just been drawn to you.
Reciprocal.
Yeah.
It's really reciprocal. Like the first time I met her.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about her. Didn't know she was all of this. And just, the energy, the poise, I was just drawn to her immediately. Go ahead.
No, so I think, even at the highest level of Sigma, I'm helping them with the documentary, getting distribution for that. And just, how I can be, it's like how I can be additive. What can I do to further the work,
Nice.
So, I've really enjoyed it. I don't need no new friends. I don't. I got a lot. No, I do. I have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
So I'm like, some people are like, I'm in it for the sisterhood. I was like, girl, I'm in it for the service.
Right. Seriously, because it's good to be kind to everyone, and people may appear to be friends, but you're just cordial. You're kind to everybody, but friends, few.
Yeah.
Few.
So,
and we get to choose them.
Yeah. Girl, we do.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you guys. In today's climate, today's political climate, people are losing their minds, they're losing their jobs, they're losing hope. Laughter is essential. It is known as the medicine for the soul.
It's true.
I remember one night you invited me out to a comedy show, and work was so stressful that week. I went out and I laughed my butt off. I needed it. Sometimes you don't realize what you really need. That's what I needed at that particular time. I came back feeling relieved. Another thing that comedy does for me that I see, I think it brings people together who would not otherwise be together. My high yoga coach always says this: you are standing next to somebody that on the outside of here, you wouldn't even look at each other.
Yeah.
You guys have different political views, different religious, views, different views on everything in life. But at that moment, at those shows, we are all laughing, we are all connecting, which is just a beautiful thing. So thank you guys for making us laugh. Thank you for facilitating this. I love you and thank you for coming.
Nice meeting y'all.
Nice meeting you.
That's it. Okay, and don't forget to click the link below. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out some other videos too. We got a lot of interviews on there, a lot of good information from some beautiful, epic people.